Hi there, I'm Leilani Hastings. I'm the president of the Friends of the Weston Public Library, and we're here at the Weston Public Library today. This is
Hi, I'm Heather Borden, also on the board of the Friends of the Weston Public Library, and we are here to talk to you about the Friends.
so a little bit about who we are. We are basically the fundraising arm of the library, trying to make sure that programs for the library are available to all of you as patrons and also available to the library staff here and the needs that they have. We are we actually help supplement the regular town library funds so that way they can do extra activities and things like that. Do you want to talk about what we do?
So, we are so grateful for your donations when you become a member and also through all of our events. We raise money through both membership and through the different events that we put on to fund various programs above and beyond what the town budget pays for. And so some of those programs you are taking advantage of right now, hopefully, which would be perhaps the museum passes that you get here at the library. We support children's programming, such as the summer reading program. We also support author talks and the local history room that we have here at the library, if you have visited that. So we are really grateful for your support because your support means that we can do programming here at the library that is above and beyond and for everyone here that supports the library.
And like Heather said, we fundraise mainly in two ways. Basically, we do two book sales a year, plus our vestibule book sale that is ongoing, as well as the membership drive. But so you know, events coming up, we have coming up is our fall book and bake sale, which starts Thursday, November 13th from 5 to 8 p.m. We have a members preview night. So become a member of the Friends of the Weston Public Library, and you'll be able to access that special member night. There will also be a bake sale that evening that's open to the general public. And as many of you know, our bake sales are very, very popular. You'll be able to get maybe your pie for Thanksgiving or get some cookies to put out at the dinner table. And they're just really wonderful. So that starts Thursday, November 13th from 5 to 8. Then we'll have the book sale and bake sale open to the general public on Friday, November 14th from 9:30 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. And then on Saturday, we'll have just the book sale from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. And then we will stop at 1 p.m. and pack up any unused books. But I think you're going to buy them all, so we won't have any books to pick up. And then ongoing, like I said, is our book sale in the vestibule. So as soon as you enter the library, right on your right, there's a whole bunch of books there. We try and keep that stocked. And there's just a little pay box there that you can put your cash in, as well as there's an option to Venmo. No, is it Square? Square. Your cash to the Friends of the Public Library. And like I said, there are two arms of fundraising. We have our book and bake sale, but then we also have our membership drive. And this year, the Friends are 60 years old. And so we are trying to get 600 members to our membership database here. And that's just 10% of the 6,000 Weston Library card holders. We would love it if you haven't already renewed your membership to do so now. It starts in the fall and goes until the summertime. And remember that 100% of your donation goes back into programs for the library. You'll get early access to our fall book sale, like I said, on Thursday evening. And you'll feel really good about donating to the library because, as you know, it's a very special place. As our head director says, Jen, she says, you know, we're a small library that packs a punch, and we really, really do. There's so much going on here, and we just want to help make that happen all the time. So let me get past to Heather to talk about book donations.
Thanks, Leilani. Hi. So, in addition to an annual membership, which is so important to support the Friends, thanks, Leilani, the other way you can also donate is books. So, we really are in need of books in good condition. A book like this that you have at the library, a book in great condition. It doesn't have to be a hardback, it can be a paperback. But we are looking for donations. And what we do with those donations is that we turn around and sort them and we sell them at our book sales. And that is a big fundraiser for us. And so if you have books that you are looking to get rid of, kids' books, books that you no longer want in your home library, we would love for you to give them to us. As you enter the library, just through the vestibule on the left-hand side, there is a bin right before you get to the gallery. And where the restrooms are, there is a large bin right there on the floor. And that is where we would love for you to donate your books. You can just pop into the library anytime and drop your books there. And that's where we, the friends, will go and find them and sort them and then sell them for our fundraiser. So you can also donate books to the bin outside if your books are tattered and in condition that is not for resale, such as this one that I'm showing here. We unfortunately don't get to go through the bin in the parking lot and sort those books. They do, however, support the Friends. But if you would like to support our book sales, biannual book sales, then definitely please come into the library lobby and donate your books inside the library. We thought it might be fun to each give you a book recommendation because we are avid readers on the Friends and we all love books and we love the library. So my book recommendation that I would like to share is called The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. This is the book here. And I loved this book very much. I listened to it on my Libby app, which if you don't have a Libby app, definitely get yourself a Libby app here at the library. This is a great one to listen to. This story is about a woman, a 72-year-old woman who has lived an incredible life, and she is writing her story of her life through letters to both loved ones and also some unexpected correspondence with a variety of different people that she comes into contact with. And there is such charm and wit, and she's just a great female protagonist that I just was cheering for and really loved kind of how her life unfolded and how her relationships unfolded in this story. And the voices were incredible on audiobook. I just kept wanting to come back to it, and it just kept me so engaged. Highly recommend. And then a second book that I would recommend is I also listened to on Libby, which is a nonfiction book by John Green. And he's a YA author, but he recently wrote a book called Everything is Tuberculosis, which is a nonfiction book all about the history of tuberculosis, which I found incredibly fascinating. I don't think you have to have an interest in public health to enjoy this book. It was really storytelling through people's lives of people who have been affected by tuberculosis and touched on really interesting history that I did not know. I really learned a lot reading this book, and it was incredibly powerful, easy to read, very accessible for a nonfiction book like this, and an easy read, but also enjoyed listening to John Green as he was the narrator in the audiobook, and so I really enjoyed that.
Thank you, Heather. I really love both of those book recommendations, and I also really did love Everything is Tuberculosis. From somebody that does have a public health background, I thought it was really great to listen to. I am also an avid listener to all my books, but I thought he did a great job just talking about tuberculosis without it being stigmatizing, which the way tuberculosis so often is in the past, and it was just fantastic. I have two book recommendations as well. As you all know, hopefully, it was Banned Books Week last week, so I listened to Lula Dean's Little Library of Banned Books by Kristen Miller, and I did listen to it on Libby, and I actually loved it so much that I ran to a bookstore to pick it out in hard copy, so that way I could spend time, because I take way too long to read eyeball books, so I wanted to buy it and read it and take my time with it. I just thought it was really a very, I don't know, such an interesting story for our times. It was kind of about how a book banning happened in a small neighborhood in the South. The book banner decided that she was going to put up a little free library with just the books that she thought were only important for kids to read, and things about, cooking for your family and being, a modest woman and things like that. And somebody came and took the books and exchanged the book jackets with more interesting books, more exciting books, and more banned books. And it was just kind of the story about how this town processed that and really got into the books that were in the little free library. And she just thought it was fantastic that everybody loved her books and everybody was actually reading totally different books. It was great. My second book recommendation is Too Old for This by Samantha Downing. Also listened to it on Libby, and it was just a hilarious tale about a serial killer who's maybe a retired woman who's kind of her child has grown up and is living on his own, and she has just fallen into a trap where somebody wanted to explore her past, where she did serially kill some people. And then that reporter, she just had to get rid of her. And so what happens when you do that? Well, then the person that reporter was connected to, then you kind of also have to get rid of them because they're looking for her. And she turns into a serial killer again. And she talks about, how hard it is and how much her back is aching while she does all this work. And it was just absolutely hilarious to listen to and a fun new way of hearing about a serial killer. So those are my book recommendations, both very quirky but very fun. And we thank you from the Friends. We are, again, the Friends of the Weston Public Library. We would love your book donations. We would love to see you at our book sale. We would love for you to eat all the delicious treats at the bake sale. And hopefully we'll have an event soon where we get to see you in person. Heather, anything else?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for supporting the Friends. We really appreciate it.
Hello, everyone. This is Alli Palmgren, the Assistant Director of the Weston Public Library, back again to tell you a little bit about what we have going on in the library coming up this month and with some book reviews for things that we have been reading and enjoying. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, you got a little bit of a teaser from our friends of the library because they were talking about this fantastic book, Everything is Tuberculosis. This is a nonfiction book by John Green, as you heard a little bit about. You would remember him from books like The Fault in Our Stars. This is probably his most famous book, and it is a young adult book. Came out a few years back, had a movie made, so there's a lot of connections there. And it's a teenage love story, but it's so much more than that. But he took a big turn in another direction to write this nonfiction book about tuberculosis. It's very accessible read. It's very brief. And what does it clock in at? 198 pages, so not a big one. I would say it's definitely appropriate for a young adult audience as well, if that is something you want to get your young adult who is a fan of John Green's books. This might be a little sneaky way to get them into nonfiction if you're struggling with that a little bit. So we are actually going to talk about this book at our nonfiction book discussion group, and that will be happening on November 13th at 2 p.m. You don't have to sign up. You can if you'd like. You'll get a reminder in your email. So let's go a little younger from there, and we're going to kind of walk back in age of things that are happening at the library. For our teen audiences, we have a Starting Smart, a Calmer Path to Starting College, a little seminar coming up. And this is on October 30th, so the very end of the month. And this one is to help your teen get the college application process and acceptance process started without the stress. So this is a good one. Parents are partners in this, so take a look, and you can sign up online at westonlibrary.org. Now going further backwards in age, we're going to go with kids 6 years and up. We have Origami Club, and Origami Club is held the first Friday of every month, 4 to 5 p.m., and this is led by one of our young patrons who is an origami expert, and he helps other kids, younger kids than him, become also origami experts. So they take a little time to learn some of the different folding techniques, and then they make some amazing creations. So the first one starting up is November 7th. You don't have to have your child attend the first to pop in for other ones. So space is limited. Please do register online at westonlibrary.org for that one as well. So we're working our way backwards again. Let's go with 3, 4, and 5-year-old story time. This is our fall offerings. So we do have them October 1st through December 17th on Wednesdays, or Thursdays, October 2nd through December 18th. The Wednesdays are 3:30 to 4:15, and the Thursdays are 4 o'clock to 4:45. And these ones are crafts and some, fun little stories for kids 3, 4, and 5 years old. So families are welcome to come, even if you do have a younger child. So even if they don't fit into that age group, as long as there's a sibling or another family member that does fall into that age group, everybody can come. Registration is required, so do that online, again, on our calendar. So we read the same books and the same crafts for both the Wednesday and Thursday, so do only register for one. That's very fun. Now, if you have a younger kid than that, we have 2-year-old story time. And these are Wednesday mornings. We have them in the first session, 10 to 10:30. And then 10:30, 11 is session 2. And this runs through December 17th, again, Wednesday mornings. Similar type thing where there is a story and then it's followed by a craft, which is a lot of fun. So you have to have an adult staying with the child for both of these story times, because they're a little bit little to be on their own, let's say. But this is a really good one, and that's a fun one you can enjoy. Now, if you have kids that are a little bit older than 2 years old, so 3 to 6, we do also have pajama story time. That happens usually about once a month, usually the first Wednesday at 6 p.m. And you wear your pajamas and you come in for a story and a craft. Very fun. You can register online on our calendar, and a perfect way to wind down before bed. Have a little bit of a story and a little bit of a calming craft, and then head home and tuck them in. So the last one we have is the very opposite of calm them down and tuck them in. It is our Sing Along with Jeannie Mac, and this is the third Thursday of every month. So our November offering is on November 20th, 10 o'clock to 10:45, babies, toddlers, and their families. So everybody comes and jumps and dances and sings loudly to some great rhyming songs, kids' favorites, with Jeannie Mac, who does play the guitar and has a great time. So if you ever want to have a really, really good day, just look and see all of the toddlers and their families and preschoolers streaming in for this one, because they have a blast. So that's Jeannie Mac. Now that we got all of the events out of the way, I just wanted to highlight some of my favorite new books for the younger set. I'm always talking about grown-up books, or books even for teens, like, The Fault in Our Stars, like we talked about here. So let's talk about a couple of kids' ones. Now, full disclosure, I have a toddler, so I read a lot of books that look like this. We love colors. We love, big, bold words in my house. So this one is the newest offering from Todd Parr. It's called I Am Strong. And you would remember Todd Parr from his very similarly illustrated books that he's been writing. I think he has over 60 books at this point. So he's been writing them for decades. And this one is, I think, a great book because, and all of his books are great, because they talk about things that are familiar to little kids. And this one is all of the ways that you can be a strong person. And that doesn't just mean by lifting heavy things or doing really, really impressive things. This is probably one of my favorite pages. I am strong because I can be happy for someone else. It shows a little birthday party scene. And that can be really hard when you're 2 and 3 and 37, 38, 39. So these are skills that kids can be proud of having. And that's I Am Strong by Todd Parr, recommended for all ages, but really great for the preschool set. Now, if you want something interactive for the younger readers, this is a new one called Who Meows by Robin Page. It's a book of animal sounds, and it's very neat because it's completely interactive. So you have to be ready to get a little loud for this one. So maybe not the last book you read before bedtime. So each page has a really big picture of a critter, and it says a dog barks. So the previous page would ask, who barks? This one says, who moos. And you flip the page and a cow moos. So it's very fun. All the animal songs come out, and you definitely have to be ready for some barking and meowing and growling and howling. So a really good one. Now, one that's really funny. These authors wrote The Grumpy Monkey that you might know, Suzanne Lang and Max Lang. And this is Archibald and the Furry Dinosaurs. This one just came out. I think we just got this one in September. And the thing that I really love about this is there are more words. So it's a good next level book. We're looking at these books here, you know, by Todd Parr, this I Am Strong book. And you'll notice that there are really bold colors, very few words here. This one is kind of that next level story. Somebody who's ready to really take things in by hearing the words read. So you'll notice there are a lot more words on the page. So not necessarily maybe the best story for a really young listener, but for that next level. Really great illustrations with a lot of funny little Easter eggs. You'll see here a whole bunch of furry dinosaurs caught in these prickly bushes, things like that. So with some foreshadowing on this page, a lot to talk about in this book. Really, really funny. So join Archibald on an adventure of colossal proportions in this hilarious tale of courage, friendship, and self-acceptance and fur. So aren't they adorable? So definitely come and check out all of these new books in the library. Bring your little ones to these programs. Sign-ups do fill up fast, so we do hope that you can go to westonlibrary.org, check out the calendar, click on the event you're interested in, and get all signed up. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next month.